So great to be back with y'all again, and this week I'm going to show you how to make something that I absolutely love in the winter time, and that is chili in the crock pot. So let's get started. One thing I always look forward to in the winter is the soups, the various soups like potato soup, chili, vegetable soup. In the wintertime, I absolutely love soup. I like me some soup beans, anything soup. I like it when it starts to get cool outside. And as I'm getting ready to make this chili today, it's in the low 50s outside, I think, and we're going to start having lows in the 20s. So I love to eat soup for lunch. So what I plan to do here is just to make a big old pot of this chili, and I'm going to do it in the crock pot. And then once it cools off, I'll bag it up and I'll throw it in the freezer. So right now, for those of you that might be watching that can't see what I'm doing, I am getting ready to chop my onion. So I've cut the ends of it off and it's not wanting to cooperate, but that's okay. We will kick the onion's butt, I promise. I just want to get this layer of skin off the outside. I just bought these, so they're fresh onions. And let me go ahead and throw this in my bag. I'm going to cut up an onion, and I'm going to cut up a pepper to go in my chili. Not a hot pepper, just a regular old bell pepper, I guess you'd call it. So now I'm just going to cut this onion into quarters. And now I can chop the heck out of an onion, but I'm going to cheat and use my chopper to take care of it. This is my small chopper, so it doesn't hold a whole lot. So I'm just going to throw half of this onion in at a time. And we'll throw the little motor on it. Actually don't know if y'all can see over this far or not, but that's okay. If you don't have a chopper in your kitchen, a food processor is nice, but it's also nice to have a little chopper for vegetables and so forth. So I'm just gonna pulse this a few times to cut this onion up the way I want it. I'm sure that's good enough. I don't know about y'all, but I don't like huge pieces of onion. Yeah, this is perfect. So I can go ahead and just add my other half of onion in here, and I don't need to worry about emptying it out just yet. Reach back here and get that. And put the lid on. And once again, we'll put the motor on. And that onion is chopped beautifully to go in our chili. And now I'll go ahead and I'll just take the lid off of this. Oh, I already got the lid off. What am I thinking? Pull out the blade, beat the blade on the side here to get everything off of it. And I will dump this perfectly chopped onion into a bowl. I could use a spoon and dig it all out, but I'm going to use my fingers. No, Duke, dogs are not supposed to have onion. I'm sorry. You are not having any of it. And if there's a little bit left in it, it'll just get chopped up with my pepper. So for the pepper, I'm just going to feel and find out where the halfway point is. And I'm going to chop it in half and pull out the seeds, which come out very easily. Wrap them up in here because we're not going to need them. And I will pull the seeds out of the other half if they haven't already come out. I don't see any. Oh, yeah, we got some seeds in here. And if you think you might not have all the seeds left, it's out of it. It's okay to rinse the peppers out. I know when I was first starting to chop up vegetables, I wasn't always sure if I had everything out. So I would rinse the inside of the pepper out. But I don't need to do that today. because I'm pretty confident I got everything cleaned out. What I'm gonna do here is just take this pepper and I'm going to cut it into, like each half I'll cut into like 3 slices. And I'll drop it down here into my chopper. And if I think they're a little too big, I'll just break them up a little bit more. Ooh, I didn't throw that away. Should have thrown that away. I left some seeds lay on my cutting board. And chop, chop. Throw that one in there. Throw that in there. Break it a few times to make sure it's small enough to fit and get down into the blades. Throw the lid on. Put my motor on top here. And for those of y'all that can see these things, do you ever have a hard time getting the lid on them just right? I realized what the issue was. I didn't put the blade back in. Duh! Oh well. Let's just pulse this a few times to cut up this green pepper. Beautiful. Oh, maybe a few more times. Sometimes what I'll do too is once I take the motor off, if I don't think it's cut good enough, I'll just take and I'll spin the little handle on the top of the blade and that'll finish cutting up the little pieces. And that's exactly what I just did. And now I'm going to add, about a tablespoon or so of olive oil to my skillet on the stove. And this is just to saute the vegetables. And I'm going to use ground chicken in my chili today. And this is some chicken that I grinded up this morning. And maybe one day I'll make a video on how I do that. Because as many of you know, the prices of groceries has gone up tremendously over the past few months. I mean, ridiculous, totally ridiculous. And it's getting to the point we really don't buy a whole lot of beef anymore. I mean, a beef roast is going for like $20, and that's just outrageous. So we are using more chicken and turkey at this point, and we do eat some pork as well. But the ground chicken that you find in the store, for example, Walmart's ground chicken is about $3.49. Checked at Aldi's, it's about the same price. And a few of the other local stores, the already ground up chicken is over $3 a pound. However, you can find the fresh boneless, skinless chicken breasts on sale for under $2 a pound. And if you take the time to do it, you can grind up your own chicken and even add seasonings and anything you want to it, and then freeze it in 1 pound packages, 2 pound packages, however you want. And then it is available to use for things like this. But I grounded this fresh this morning. It's never been frozen, so it's a perfect fit for a big old pot of chili. My oil's hot enough. I'm gonna go ahead and add in my onion. Perfect. And let me reach over here and grab my peppers. I'm just kind of beating on the side of that to make sure we get it all out. And we'll stir this around. And we'll saute it for, I don't know, 3-4 minutes. And then we'll add our ground chicken in with it. I love the smell of vegetables sauteing. And these are good enough for me. So what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to reach over here and grab this bowl of chicken that I grinded fresh this morning. or ground fresh, whatever you want to say about it. It's fresh chicken. And I think I probably threw a little bit too much in here, but I don't know about y'all, but when I'm having chili, I like meat in my chili. Do y'all like meat in your chili? And this, I'm telling you what, this is just going to be amazing. Lots of protein, just a good hearty lunch. And I wish y'all were here with me. I'd serve you up a bowl when it was done. So we're just going to let this cook, and we'll flip it around, and it'll take it just a little bit. And I know some of y'all are probably thinking, aren't you going to put some seasonings in this? Well, I am cheating today. Not to say that I won't add something extra later, but I bought these chili mixes, and these are really quick things to use to make a pot of chili, and it really flavors it well. It has chili powder, it has ground cumin in it, it has salt and pepper, and I forget what all's in these packages. But I'm going to start by just adding one. I bought a few of them just in case I need them, but these will season this meat up so nice. Man, I already smell it. Yeah, so I'm just going to stir this in really good. And that's what we're going to use to season our meat, which will then be used to season, help to season our chili. Oh my gosh, y'all, this is smelling so good. Jen's in the other room watching TV, and she says she can smell it too. And Duke, you need to get off that counter, boy. Off. He's a sneaky Labrador at times. He's not nearly as bad as he was when he was a pup. But there are times that he will still try to sneak up on the counter to get something if he thinks he can reach it. And honestly, this is pretty much done enough because it's going to be in the crock pot for 6 hours or so anyway. So I'm not concerned if it happens to be a little underdone because it will continue to cook. But for the most part, it's pretty close. So at this point, I'm going to reach over here on the stove and grab up this skillet full of meat. Like I say, there's a lot of meat here. This is going to be some really meaty chili. But man, is it going to taste good. We're going to go ahead and put this in the crock pot. I'm using a 6-quart crock pot, and while I'm doing this, I will say you could make this in your pressure cooker as well, and probably I would say 20 minutes on high would do just fine. But if you have the time to let your chili cook slow, I highly recommend cooking it in the crock pot. Now at this point, I'm going to add in, let's see what this is. This is 15-ounce can of tomato sauce. And then I'm going to add in a 15-ounce can of diced tomatoes with the juice. And then I'm going to add 2 cans of kidney beans. And they're like different colors, but honestly, that doesn't matter. And I did drain those as best as I could. However, I did not. Some people rinse them. I do not rinse them. And then finally, I'm going to add a can of pinto beans. And those are also drained, but not rinsed. Gotta get every last drop, folks. Every last drop. And Now I'm just going to take my spatula that I used earlier and kind of just mix this all together and see how thick it is at this point. And the best thing to use to thin down chili, some people use tomato juice, but really the best thing to use, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, is some beef broth. And I can tell you right now that if I don't add some beef broth, this is going to be way too thick. So, have me a box of broth here. And let's open it up. And we'll just add a little at a time until it's the consistency that we want. Now, I like my chili a little thick. Some people like it more like us, you know, just really, really, really soupy. But I prefer to have mine a little on the thicker side. But however you like it, that's entirely up to you. This is a good amount of chili here, definitely. And I may end up needing to add that other seasoning packet. What I'm going to do here in a minute, and I know it won't give me the full effect, of course, of how it tastes, but I will take a bite of it cold and just see if it needs any more seasoning. And it may very well take this whole 32-ounce box of broth. Because like I said, there's a lot of chili here. So I'm just going to go ahead and add it. But I think it's going to need it. Go ahead and take a bite of this and see what I think. It's definitely going to be good, but it's definitely going to need a little bit more seasoning. So I'm going to add a half a pack of that other seasoning. See how it comes out here. Here it is. Actually, you know what? Again, that's a lot of chili. I'm not going to add half of that pack of seasoning. I'm going to add the whole thing, because it definitely won't make it overly spicy. I'm a little wishy-washy, folks. I say I'm going to do one thing and then, oh, never mind. We'll do it this way. That's just how I am. That's how I roll. And I am adding in that whole other pack. Maybe I could have went 5 or 6 ounces less on the beef broth, but I don't think it's going to hurt a thing. So at this point, guys, the chili is all mixed up. It's ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and pause for now, throw this into the actual crock pot apparatus that gets hot, and we'll come back here in a little bit and see how it tastes and how it looks. See you in a while. And guys, here's the finished product. So we're off to eat some chili.